Welcome into Bruce Pullman Arena here in Auckland, the Ford Futsal Superleague. It is finals day, and we have the women's final coming up very shortly between East Coast Bays and Papakura. Definitely the two best women's teams in this competition, and they go head-to-head here on Sky Sports. We'll hear from the coaches before we get underway. Firstly, East Coast Bays coach Jet Lim, and then Papakura head coach Marvin Eakins.
I tell you what, it's bloody awesome. I think first time ever coaching in the Super League, it's such an honour to firstly even be here coaching, and to then make it into the final is just like such an honour. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be so exciting, and I'm just so proud of my girls for making it. I think, look, we've had two key messages, just battle and discipline, and it's been there throughout the entire Super League, and that's never going to change. What Marv might do with his team, get us into some tricky tactics, who knows, but we're going to be turning up on the day, we're going to be prepared for it, and we're going to give it our best.
Yep, East Coast Bays have the wood over Papakura in this tournament so far. A draw in the first game last Saturday, first game of the competition, and then East Coast Bays picking up two very close wins. So they seem to have the wood over Papakura. Let's hear from the Papakura head coach, Marvin Eakins.
Yeah, it's just great for the women to be playing, but I think it's pretty awesome as well to be representing Papakura City. They've put a lot into futsal as a club across the entire game with the kids and now into the women's space. So I think a great opportunity for this club, a little South Auckland club, to show what it can do on the national stage. Yeah, I guess we have to do something different. Jed and his team have got a couple of results over us so far, so we're yet to beat them. But I think we have the quality in player, and if we can stick to our systems that we've worked on in training, and maybe get a little bit of a rub of the green as well, especially in front of goal, I think there's a great opportunity here for the women to win.
So all set to go here at Bruce Pullman Arena in Auckland. The Ford Futsal Super League Women's Final. East Coast Bays versus Papakura. And it's going to be Papakura to get us underway. Jess Verdon, their captain, on the ball as the whistle blows. And we are underway, 20-minute halves. The clock does stop if it goes out of play. And on the ball now, Maxine Cooper, danger. Threat for Papakura. As Marc said, possession, definitely the focus to start the game. As teams just try and feel each other out, but they have played each other 3 times already in this competition. They know their opponents well. Here's Verdon. Back now to Waters. Waters looking for that long ball down towards Williams. Can't find it, but Papakura setting the tone early.
I think Marvin Eakins as well, his formation structure that he would have set up with this side will see that possession-based futsal, and that's probably what you're saying in terms of them being the dominant side. It's the fact that they hold on to that ball and create pressure through possession.
Williams at the back now, up high to Waters. Happy to move around. Here's Cooper, up high again. Just trying to find a little bit of space in behind if they can, but happy to use it at the back. And Papakura happy to let them come at them. Here's Williams down on the sideline. This near hand touch, back to Verdon. Trying to get a clean shot through. It's handled well by the safe hands of Karina Brown. Standout goalkeeper at this tournament, both on the men's and the women's side. So East Coast Bays have a chance to set up somewhat of an attack. Here's Takeda. Down low to Hooper. There's a Hooper from East Coast Bays and a Cooper from Papakura. Try not to get too confused.
I think the way we'll see Hannah Reddy play as well, she'll sit up top and they'll just move the ball around and rotate with those back 3 that they have at the moment. You can see the way they're just passing it back and forward, side to side, to then find the feet of Reddy up top.
Coming away with it is Cooper, and then hassled off the ball by Takeda. That's good defence to keep her off the ball. She is the competition leading goal scorer, and they'll be looking very hungry. I wonder as well, Marc, you did mention the attitude they might have held yesterday, given that they knew that they were in the final. And I guess there's probably a little bit of preservation, both last weekend and this weekend. You know you're playing 3 games in a day. You do just have to sit back at times. Here's a chance for Takeda. Coming out to meet her was Danielle Bradley in net for Papakura. That was half a chance for East Coast Bays, just caught napping at the back.
There's a great opportunity first up here. Just couldn't get the ball to stick at the feet. And a good save there from Bradley as well.
So the kicking from Takeda's somewhat errant. Coming away with it is Williams. Now Cooper's got it forward. Good pass back to Waters. A shot that goes to the right. Just caught off the outside foot, I think. And no trouble for Karina Brown.
Just a bit off balance there when she was coming through. Probably had the time to take a touch. I think you'll see some of the other players, they'll roll over the top of the ball and look to toe that one top corner. So good chance there for Papakura.
Putting it up now, ready for East Coast. Hassled by Verdon, who comes away with it. 2.5 minutes gone here in the first half. No real shots on goal so far. That one trickles all the way through. I was mentioning the preservation maybe, but now, of course, your one game, 40 minutes, it's all you've got. So, I don't know, is the high press a bit more of an option as well, moving through the game now that they've got fresher legs and they're willing to put it all out there?
I think these finals sometimes are always weird in the first few minutes of a game. An early goal is always super helpful to kind of bring the game to life a wee bit. You know, I spoke in the last game about almost the chess pieces being moved. At 0-0, it's almost like no one wants to be the first one to make that attacking move. But once you see that, I think we'll see the press come in. Teams will just sit back to begin with, get into the game, and then we'll see those presses coming when they see the opportunity.
Yeah, plenty of new viewers to the game of futsal over these last 2 weekends, as well as a good ball forward to Takeda. The header just comes off the foot, I think, of Danielle Bradley, so it's going to be a corner for East Coast Bays, but Takeda really showing how much of a threat she is up high for East Coast.
Caught them napping there, didn't see that run in behind. A great opportunity again.
Ready off the one touch, and that one's not on target, so I
think we'll see that. We'll see that again there. That's that back post ball. We've got to be alert to that. That's the opportunity there for someone to just move into that position when that shot might not be on target, but it's a tap in at the back post.
So I mentioned there will be new viewers to the game of futsal, and counter-attacking, you'll definitely see that in play as well when, as Marc said, a team pushes for that goal. If they get caught out, it's a good ball forward to Williams with a shot that comes off the side of the foot, and once again, Karina Brown doesn't have to do any work. So that counter-attacking opportunity, Marc, we see as teams do start to push forward in the game, they can get caught out, and it's just such a back and forward game, isn't it, once it really gets underway.
And that's the risk you get when you press, is being caught out on that kind of counter. So that's where I think at the moment we'll see both teams not willing to do that as much. And as the game goes on, you get tired and your decision-making is not quite as good.
Waters here, long ball forward to Cooper, does well to trap it and trying to get around Hooper, and then Brown comes out to clean up. So not able to get that cleanly under control was Maxine Cooper. Burden to take the kick in for Papakura. A good first time shot, maybe looking for Cooper in the middle. And, Hooper, the defensive opposite, was there to meet her. Now Reddy, good one touch pass to Takeda. Down low, back up to Reddy, has a chance for a shot, takes it on, and then another after the rebound. Could we get a third here? Hooper trying to dance around Cooper. Takeda, back up to Reddy. East Coast, Papakura trying to get their shape back now. East Coast happy to play it back to the goalkeeper. They're allowed to do that once per possession. Takeda, forward pass to Brenda.
This is good now from East Coast Base, moving the ball nicely, trying to find a way in past this defend.
Freeman on the right-hand side, it's a shot that goes across the face, and like you mentioned, danger lurking on the far post and Reddy, but Waters equal to it.
Just did enough there, got enough on it, out for the kick in on the far side.
East Coast now, that one just not well timed from Hooper, and it does go over the far hand touch.
And this is what you'll see. Marvin Eakins is a big fan of this. They play now in rotations of 4. So rather than subbing 1 or 2 players in one go, they'll actually have a 4. It means in trainings you can work together a little bit. We've got Anthony in possession of the ball now. She's one to watch as well in this rotation.
Yep.
Sorry, now on the ball.
Yep, Anthony, who had the captain's armband for most of this tournament, given to Verdon today, and usually Anthony is one of the starters. So, yep, Marvin just moving things around, as you mentioned, a bit of a chess match. He said that yesterday to us, particularly against East Coast, that it really is a chess match, and yeah, I guess just trying to find those mismatches, you know, switching up the lines a little bit to try and catch a defender out if you think your player's stronger on the ball. So, a new 4 out here for Papakura.
I think as well, you might see Papakura look to press more when Hannah Reddy is off the court. The risk of pressing when you have someone like her who can turn and create space from that, you don't want to press as much. So we might see a chance here for them to press.
Gillian back up high now to Anthony. Sorry, that's Peinenberg on the ball. Now it's Anthony up high. Some good movement this from Papakura. Gillian has it again. Back up high to Anthony. They're just happy to play it in their own half at this stage. looking for a clear chance. Heinenberg moving forward, now retreating to the path, and East Coast Bays disrupt it well. It's kept pretty on for Papakura as well, sitting second on the Rosine Golden Boot standings with 6 goals, so also a threat, and I guess splitting her and Maxine Cooper up, a bit of a tactic there from Marvin Eakins to try and keep goal scorers on the field.
It's definitely going to be a tactical piece with that goal scoring. The honest thing is, I'm surprised to see Maxine Cooper at the top of the goal scoring. It's not saying that I don't expect her to score goals, but someone like Reddy is always dangerous in front of goal, and I think it shows the difference in these two sides.
Now Papakura hassling East Coast Bays, and they're trying to set themselves up defensively, getting a little bit hassled, and that one just trickles out over the goal line. I think the referee's going to call a corner. It's going to be Anthony to take. The player out the back, and that is just drifting to the right, saying it took a touch, I think, off the boot of Cat Pretty. Look at this one up high. It's a good right-footed shot. Did it take a touch off East Coast Bays? I think it did, so they will get another corner here. Comes back up towards Pretty at the top, and that one blocked off well. Maybe Venmore there for East Coast Bays. Staunch and standing up to it. We've seen a few players coming in and out of these two squads over the last 2 weekends, of course. A number of them involved in outdoor 11-a-side duties too, but good to see both of them at full strength today. Heinenberg. Now East Coast Bays coming away with it. Half chance for a counter-attack. Just couldn't get under control. Mickey Buckley.
I think we're seeing the way at the moment. Papakura can't find a way into almost that attacking third. The set up East Coast Bays to keep them out of that.
And that has really been the story of the last 7 or 8 days, the East Coast defence. It is one of the best in the competition. They've conceded the least amount of goals. And they just get their shape so well organised.
And I think that's what's forcing them to take those longer range shots, where it's not as clinical tap-ins at the back post that we probably would see more of if you got it over a team.
So East Coast Bays have it at the back now. Karina Brown to start the attack. It's a long ball down towards Abby Wright, but uncontrolled. So Bradley will get it at her end. And 6.5 minutes gone here in the first half. The score's still locked at 0-0. No real goal scoring chances as of yet. No tests of the keeper. There's Heinenberg. Back up high to Anthony. Those two building a combination at the back. That one cut off by Wright, and Anthony has to try and recover. It's a strong tackle. It's a fair tackle. And then Bradley happy to just clear it out and reset.
Almost got herself into a bit of trouble there, did Anthony, but did enough to break the play down. It's out on the far side again.
So East Coast Bays might be looking to set something up here. They've pulled Karina Brown forward. Maybe looking for a half chance. That one just drifting over the head of Wright, and it'll be a goal kick. Good pass down to Pretty, who controls it with her chest, then palms it off to Gillian, but now East Coast Bays coming away with it. Here's Wright, wide ball to Buckley. Buckley just caught down there near side. And it's a good tackle on her by Gillian.
I think that example there, we just needed to rotate the ball again, get it out of that. They just got caught in, and that's when the challenge was made and allowed them to counter for East Coast Bays.
Here's Pretty on the ball, trying to dance around Wright. That one going out for a Papakura ball. And look, if you are new to the game of futsal, we'll try our best to explain it to you as we go as well. You'll notice the ball slightly smaller than your regular size football and a little bit heavier as well. So it doesn't bounce as much and tends to stay on the deck a bit more.
Just allows for closer control. You see, you can fizz the ball in and take a pretty good touch. So very skillful. Just make it a little bit easier.
It's a little bit cushioned as well, just in case you see it flying into the back or the leg of someone. It's not as brutal as you might think, although they do come out with a lot of bruises and bumps. After the game, it's a shot put through there by Gillian and just contained by Brown, who stuck the right foot out.
That's the best opportunity there for Papakura, but they just can't get round the keeper, Brown.
So now pressing forward a little bit high, Papakura. That one skittling through, Brown handles. At the back for East Coast Bays now, what can they set up on this play? So ball down low, Pretty holding her up well enough, and then that one Slightly too long from Anthony.
Just forcing it there a wee bit, I think. Just a chance to, it wasn't a real press coming in from East Coast Bays. Chance to take a touch, recycle, and get into your rotation formation.
Now that long ball there, just not finding its player, and easily through to Bradley. So the goalkeepers really have been standouts in the tournament, both across the men's and the women's, really. Karina Brown and Danielle Bradley. They haven't been asked to do too much in the first 9 minutes of this game, but I expect as things start to open up as Papakura decide to change out their 4. Seeing Cooper back on, along with Verdon and Williams.
It'll be interesting now to see if East Coast make some changes. This first chance they get. Strong 4 here.
Good pass down to Williams on this near-hand side. Maybe Waters playing that role at the back. Here's Cooper. Going to play maybe off Verdon. Takes the shot on. It's a low percentage shot, and they have come away with it following the deflection. That one straight to the path of right, but not controlled. Now they can break Papakura. Player down, and Maxine Cooper back in the middle for Williams. Can't get a clean shot off. Good defence there from Buckley, pushing her off the ball. But Papakura just starting to push the issue a little bit.
It's a great body position, wasn't it? Just stepped across and she couldn't get it away.
Another change now for East Coast Bay, switching out the 4 and back on. Looks like that starting 4 of Reddy, Hooper, Bremner, Takeda as well.
I think that's the chess game between when those 4s get changed. Obviously both coaches feel that there's a advantage either way.
Takeda has it near side now and dances through 2 of the Papakura defenders. The foul does get called. So foul for Papakura. That is actually their second foul, I think. So those new to the sport are 5 fouls per team per half. Once they exceed the 5, the opposite team gets a shot from the 10-metre penalty spot. Takeda on her left. Not a lot of power in it. Now Papakura can go back the other way. Cooper isn't able to control it. Now Hooper, you're seeing the counter-attacking here. Here's Reddy, trying to get onto the right foot. Tackled hard, and this ball stuck underneath her. It's going to get pulled up.
Could have gone either way there, I think. Sides, and Reddy, strong.
That ball from Papakura going all the way down towards the corner, so East Coast Bays to have the kick in to Brown. It's an errant pass from up high to Dana Bremner. So, yep, over halfway through the first half here, and both teams, they spent the best part of 7 or 8 minutes working each other out. Now things are opening up a little bit. There's counter-attacking opportunities. No goals as of yet. Cooper on the ball.
Still not seeing any side really take it to them. They're sitting back on defence, which makes it harder. The other team not really forcing the issue either when that's given to them. I did hear Marvin Eakins before ask for a press, but we've only had that once so far in this half.
And, you'll be forgiven for thinking that's crowd noise in the background. Bit of rain coming down here on the top of Bruce Pullman Arena. The advantage of futsal, of course, Mark, is that we're not affected by the weather. Thank goodness.
I think they actually need to change this to be the winter version of football.
Oh, I can imagine it gets very hot in the summer indoors. Certainly hot today. Williams on the ball now, and good hassle here from East Coast Bays to keep them pinned in their own end. Papakura are going to come away with it though.
Good press that time. Almost like the first time we've really seen one of these sides really go after it.
Here's right up high, hassled by Bremner. So Papakura struggling to get out of their own end at this stage. Reddy's going to put pressure on again. Now Takeda joins in the press. Cooper's trying to get it downtown. A good pass, but evades the boot of Verdon. And now she comes away with the error from Karina Brown and then recovers well. Scary moments there for East Coast Bay. She has a smile, a bit of a laugh about it.
I think she should have taken a touch and got a bit closer. It was a good toe, just straight at Brown.
She would have been smiling if that had gone into the top right corner, I'll tell you that much. Reddy hassled there by Williams. It's going to be a East Coast Bays kick-in. And, try not to be too confused. The East Coast Bays team playing in the red, Papakura in the blue, which I know is opposite to the logo colours, but that's how they dress this afternoon. Great to have your company here on Sky Sport for the Ford Futsal Superleague. It's finals day. We had Waikato beating Bay of Plenty in the 3rd and 4th playoff, the men's bronze medal match. Waikato coming out on top 5-2. Now in the women's final with the men's final between Auckland and East Coast Bays coming up later on this afternoon. Cracking day of futsal ahead. Cooper controlling at the back for Papakura. Williams then up high to right. Right, that ball central to Verdon, who did well to control it, but then couldn't quite find Cooper running through.
Forcing it. They're just forcing it a little bit too much. I know Mr. Futsal Marvin Eakins would want to see them control that ball a little bit more, create those openings. Just feels a little bit almost clinical at the moment, if I can describe it in that way, where one person moves one place and they move around. They're not. It's almost easier to read.
A shot from Brown, who there's no one to take them on. Bradley's going to have a stab herself, but Brown did well to recover. Well, we did see actually in the last game of Sunday last week, Brown, the goalkeeper, scored for East Coast Bays and gave them the 1-0 win. A very similar situation to what we just saw there.
I like it because it was a little bit different. It kind of was.
Catches them off guard, you know. Here's Hooper. Takeda, pass into the middle. Looking for Bremner. Players tied up there. Takeda comes away with it. Hooper now into Reddy, but disrupted. Now they've come away with it through Bremner. Bremner trying to dance around Williams. Plays it back to Hooper. Hooper fakes the shot, gets around Verdon. Has a player in the middle, goes down low to Takeda, cutting back to her right. Patience here from East Coast Bays. Pass forward to Hooper and then hassled by Williams, and that forces the mistake. We'll keep the ball though. It looks like they'll make a change, East Coast Bays. And also a change for Papakura. It might just be the single change here, bringing on Anthony. So it might be Marvin Eakins looking for a mismatch.
Something different, yeah. I think it's all just been a bit too predictable at the moment in the way they're playing. Very skillful players, but just haven't quite been able to find that open shot yet.
It's a timeout called by the looks of it, by the sounds of it. So every team, or both teams, get a timeout per half just to reset and recharge. This one after 13 minutes of the first half with 7 minutes to play. Just to reset and just walk through how the game's looking for both teams and a chance for the coach to work on a few tactical things.
There's a couple of things I'd like to see as well. We're getting the ball forward nicely into the attacking zone, but no one's really taking it to the other team. They're not pushing forward with a run. If you've got cover in behind you, you can kind of afford to try and get around and try and create that open space. But they're just getting it, taking long shots, which are at the moment easy pickings for both the keepers.
We're talking with Marvin Eakins yesterday on the coverage, and I guess a lot of people's stereotypical view of futsal or indoor football was a lot of one-on-one, tricks and skills, but Marvin was saying that the New Zealand game tends to be a bit more structured, so it's more about positional play and moving around, and maybe it will just take someone taking on a player one-on-one and just opening up a bit more space. Maybe that's what it needs.
It does need some life in this game, and it's not saying that this could be the tactic. I mean, the way that East Coast Bays have been getting it over them, this is perfect for them. I think this is the situation they want. You get that cheeky one goal from the keeper and then just sit back and defend, and they're doing a good job of it.
Yeah, that's what's got them through the last three encounters between the two teams. Here's Pinenberg now for Papakura, so they've changed out a few more. Back up high to Anthony. Finding it, of course, part of the women's under-20s team. Yeah, in the football, the 11-a-side game. Converting to futsal for this weekend.
There's a couple of others as well, I believe. I know Sophie Williams does play for the Auckland United side.
It's still a sport where players do split their time, isn't it? We're hoping to get to a stage where it's more of a specialist game, but at the moment you're still seeing a lot of 11-a-side players that will use futsal to increase the foot skills and keep playing over summer.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, I've been calling it now for 5 years, involved in the game, and in that time we're seeing futsal players come through just in that short period of time. You look at someone like Oban Hawkins, who we'll see in the next game, a true futsal player, grew up playing it, and the difference in those players compared to a battler like myself, who's a football player that would try and do football things on the futsal court.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that more and more, especially in the girls' game as well.
Oh, even you corrected us as we were having a kick around before all the games kicked off today. You're controlling it with the ball of your foot, aren't you, as opposed to the inside or the outside like you will with a football. So that's even a change that players will.
And it just keeps that ball moving all the time, the way you move it across, and you'll see that with the really good players in the way that they can control it and just find space where there isn't space just from rolling it around someone.
Yeah, it just gives you that extra half step, and that can be the difference on a small court like this between hitting your man and getting caught up. So 5.5 minutes to play here in the first half. It is 0-0. Ford Futsal Superleague Women's Final here at Bruce Pullman Arena in Auckland. If you're around the Auckland region and don't have much to do on your Sunday afternoon, why not come on down, catch the second half of the women's final, and then a bumper men's final between Auckland, the reigning champs, and East Coast Bays, full of international talent. And lots of futsal whites on show in those two teams as well. Papakura here. Possession again in their own half, certainly controlling the possession category on the stat sheet, just not quite able to convert that in the final third. But neither team really has had that golden opportunity yet, as that pass towards that pretty just a heavy touch, and East Coast Bays able to defend.
They're frustrating them at the moment. And even with the talent on their side, I mean, it's a good tactic. They've just got to find a way through, I think.
Now they come away with that East Coast Bays, trying to spring something maybe, but that one out of the reach of right and then over the near hand touch. And of course the clock does stop in futsal and it goes out of play, so unlike the 11-a-side game, time wasting doesn't really exist in the game of futsal.
The only thing you really do it for is to have a break.
Yeah.
The further you can kick the ball away, the longer you can have a break.
Oh, I notice sometimes the goalie is happy to let it go through, and I think that also is maybe then trying to catch your breath.
I guess that's a bit of time, but also it's a bit of control as well, because if you pick the ball up, your 4 seconds starts pretty much straight away. If you let it go out, it gives you a bit more time, it gives your players time to get into position, and then start the time when you step back onto the court. So you'll see them all the time leave the ball to go out if they can, rather than pick it up. It's just so that the players have a bit more time to have a break and get into position ready.
Oh, a pass in from Heinenberg there. Looking for a player in the middle, but it just got away from them a little bit. That one from Buckley goes out over the near-hand touch. It's going to be Papakura ball. Yep, so you mentioned the 4 second, well, obviously once the ball's down, they've got 4 seconds to play, and that's when you see the referees doing the arm movements, if you've been noticing that on the cameras.
And that was brought in a couple of years ago. That used to just be a count with a hand in the air, but they've brought the arm movement in so it's more obvious for everyone involved.
Heinenberg now going into the middle, cutting our shot, easily handled by Brown. Shot coming from Anthony. East Coast Bays on it now through right. It's a long ball that Heinenberg deals with. East Coast Bays making a few changes now. Just under 4 minutes to play in this first half, 0-0. And we did expect a tight game. It's certainly been that so far, but either side creating that golden chance. And
I think in this 4, I want to see them hit Hannah Reddy's feet and give her the chance to turn, but also the players need to be running off her to create that space in behind. And when you have that, it also then gives you the chance to turn. So it's kind of keeping those defenders in 2 minds.
Pretty lays it back, and it's a shot on target, but handled by Brown. She takes a shot on herself, straight down to the hands of Bradley. So all back and forth there between the 2 teams. Pretty's on it again. Back to Anthony. Players running in motion. And they're looking for movement. Pretty high ball up towards Gillian, but that one not controlled. East Coast come away with it.
It's just that last pass at the moment, isn't it? Just can't quite find it. They've got good control of it in the centre court. And as soon as they push for that attacking third, they just haven't been able to bring it under control.
Reddy trying to get a turn on here. Papakura collapsing well to contain. Takeda on now as well for East Coast Bays. Here's Hooper. Down low to Reddy. Maybe trying to find something before half-time. Going in with a lead would be a momentum shifter in the context of this game. Hooper up high to Takeda. Looking for Bremner far side. Hassled by Anthony. This one's going to be Papakura ball. So good defence from Papakura.
It was well worked there. Like the way that East Coast were moving the ball around there and being a bit more patient to try and find that opening. And it did open up, kind of forced that space.
Brown with ball in hand. Takeda playing it back to Hooper. Fixed defender role. Hooper again. Yeah, big press here from Papakura. Can they come away with it? Pretty with a little back heel to Heinenberg. Now East Coast Base can come back the other way. On the foot of Bremner. Hard work getting around Savonte Anthony, and not able to do it there.
There's a good chance to counter there for East Coast Bays, but well defended.
Hooper with a shot. Bradley deals with it. Straight to the palms.
I think this is where I want to see a press now. Just, you've kind of forced them, they've just dropped the ball down. Just bring something into the game. Neither side wanting to give it away at the moment.
Just over 2 minutes to play in this first half. Takeda comes away with it, a shot straight in the hands of Bradley again. Well held by the Papakura goalkeeper, but didn't have to move too laterally. That's a good ball up to Peinenberg. She's not able to control. Now East Coast Bays have it through Hooper. Hooper gets around her nicely and then finds Reddy. Can they push for something here with a minute 40 to play? Long ball to Takeda, but she had run the other way, so easily handled for Papakura.
I think we're going to see a stalemate in this first half. I think it's all going to come down to that halftime talk and what the tactics are with both sides. But
Cooper getting on her left and a shot that forces Brown to dive away to her right. Good save from the East Coast Bays goalies. We see this one here on the replay. Cooper doing well to get around Hooper, and then that left foot looking for the bottom left corner.
Forcing the save there. Still a bit of life in this half,
Yeah,
maybe.
A little bit more action as Cooper gets it up high. Going on to her right now. Here's Peinenberg. That'll be another corner, so Papakura setting themselves up in a dangerous position. One comes back again. Cooper off the one touch, and that one's high and wide. Another timeout called here. The team's just going back into reset. And should mention as well, Marc, it's obviously great to see women's futsal on show here, Ford Futsal Superleague. I was talking with Marvin yesterday. There's obviously no Women's World Cup, but New Zealand football in particular sort of leading the way a little bit in women's futsal and putting them into the Ford Futsal Super League competition. So it is great to have them as part of the competition.
Oh, it's fantastic that they're here. And just creating that futsal community in New Zealand as well, having both the men and the women come at the same time. Obviously not all teams are attending this particular competition, but next year we'll see back to that full complement, and you'll see some of the rest of the talent throughout New Zealand come up to play.
Yeah, so we obviously haven't seen any of the South Island teams, and no one from the south of the North Island. Is there one of those centres that's a bit of a hub for futsal?
Yeah, I mean, the Canterbury women's side, they are strong in the university champs. A few months ago, it was the Auckland side versus Canterbury, and a cracking game. That was almost, I think it went to extra time. And a lot of these players on the court now played for that Auckland side. So, yeah, I think having Canterbury come in as well, that'll really boost this competition.
Back underway here with just a minute 13 to play in the first half. On the foot of Williams. Pass down low to Cooper. Now Williams comes away with it onto the left foot. Here's Peinenberg, a pass across. Looking for Cooper running through, but she might have just overrun it a little bit. It's Papakura putting the squeeze on a little bit here with a minute to play in the first half.
It's much better that. Just getting that ball out wide and then just driving it across the face of the goal. It's probably a little bit too high on that, but the idea is there.
Yep, getting the defence moving from left to right sort of seems to be the way that these spaces open up.
And that's what you can't take away from East Coast Bays. They're defending well. And Papakura are moving the ball nicely, which is forcing the defence to shift from side to side. But they still haven't let anything in yet.
Anthony controlling at the back here as we've just got 44 seconds left. That one could have found her in the middle, and she may have had half a chance with an overlap on the right, but just goes a little bit too far. So 40 seconds. Can a team fashion half a chance here and steal it heading into half time? Or are we going to go and tie it up at zeros?
Just wonder if that timeout called was something to look for the last 20 seconds of this half to see if they can sneak that goal that they need to get ahead.
Tequita back to Brown, who puts a long ball forward to Reddy. And the foul called there on Anthony, and it's an interesting one. Thought it was a decent challenge, but she is called, and maybe a chance here for East Coast Bays to set up a set play.
Yeah, I think you're going to look to go back post from this range here. We'll shift wide out to the far side. Hannah Reddy's got to make herself a nuisance in there, I think.
There's Tequita. Out wide to Bremner, but that one is a hard pass to handle. Papakura do come away with it now. 17 seconds. Can they get something in before half time? Coach is telling them to push forward. East Coast Bays want to squeeze, but they don't want to give anything away. Anthony with a one-touch pass, disrupted by Tequita. Now here's Cooper on the ball. 6 seconds to play, intercepted by Hooper. Needs to get a shot away if she can. That's a foul called. It might have just been before time, or is the referee saying that's us for half time? I think he is calling it. Just waiting to see what the referee's calling here. The buzzer did go sort of simultaneously. I think he's saying we'll have this final play. So, talk about last second stuff. This is about as close as it comes.
Surely you're going to shoot from here.
0.2 on the clock, so they'll probably be looking for some sort of deflection.
Just a big toe. It's probably all that's needed here.
Just making sure we've got the correct time on the scoreboard. So it's going to be pretty much on halfway for East Coast Bays. Hooper's going to be the one who lines it up. She'll probably just be looking for a touch off one of her teammates with barely anything left on the scoreboard. I think they're just, I don't know if the clock goes down in those increments. They're looking to put it on, but
arguably
might just play it from it by ear here. And that one from Hooper just goes high and wide. The referee does blow the whistle. And we go into the half-time break, locked up, 0-0. And look, we said that phrase, chess match. Marc, it really has been a chess match for 20 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we'll see someone play a bigger piece in this second half. It's been a little bit too, I guess, edgy, but you get that in a final. But I really want to see a team come out and attack that first half, get that one goal up, and then just see what that does to the game.
Yeah, well, plenty of action still to come. 20 minutes separates one of these teams from becoming Ford Futsal Superleague Women's Champions. We'll take a short break, come back with more after this. One team is going to have to break this deadlock, you'd think. Marc, Matsas, before, I guess, shootout, is it?
Yeah, I think we'll go extra time first. And I think the longer this game goes without a goal, the more it plays into East Coast Bays. The way that they're defending at the moment, if they can sneak one, that could be enough. But I think if Papakura can score first, that's where the game will open up more for them and they'll find it easier to create more opportunities.
That's certainly what East Coast Bays have done over the last 7 or 8 days. They've met 3 times, these two teams, and East Coast Bays have come out on top, 2 wins and a draw. And there's plenty of players across the board, isn't there, that can be that individual to score something out of nothing. As we're back underway here in the second half. East Coast Bays playing in the red, Papakura in the blue. And there's those starting 4 from both sides that are back out on the court. Start the second half, and that shot from Verdon just troubles Brown a little bit. She has to parry it behind. It'll be a corner kick early here for Papakura.
And it was an early press as well coming there. They pushed hard up, forced the error, and got the shot away.
Back up high to Verdon. Finds Williams on that far hand touch. Williams turning. Finding Cooper in the middle, who wants to turn herself. Still has back to goal. And then that one, they say, is last touched by Papakura. So East Coast Bay's ball.
I think in that situation there, you need to recycle the ball. She'd actually done well there, Maxine Cooper, to bring in 3 defenders, which means that there's going to be space out where, so to recycle that ball and move it around to create that opportunity.
Brown marshalling her troops from the back. Papakura in position now. Williams up towards Cooper.
Both teams sitting a bit higher defensively in the start of this half.
East Coast Bay's coming away with it. Bremner trying to find Takeda on the far side. It was a good recovery there from Williams running back. And it's going to be a corner for East Coast Bays, and that's that counter-attacking danger that we might see more of in the second half.
And the press. The press is really causing these kind of opportunities to happen.
That one dealt with by Williams. Cooper will take the kick in for East Coast Bays. Finds Takeda there in the corner. Quite compact at the moment, East Coast Bays. Now they open up a little bit. Ready. Is it at the back? We'll use the goalkeeper, Karina Brown, who is a ball player in her own right. That one nice. Nice pass to Takeda. It does go over the sideline though. Ref pulls it up. But yeah, pulling in Karina Brown as well. She was playing in the outfield actually last weekend before going back into goal. So they know that they can use her, you know, almost as another player.
You'll see some teams do it quite a bit actually. They'll push that keeper out wide from a kick-in or something like that to create a bit more space. So I would actually like to see her come forward a bit more in this game.
That one intercepted by Cooper. A long-range pass. Williams will control at the back. Cooper again now. East Coast Bays are hassling them, wanting to put that press on. Ready, hurrying up Williams a little bit. Goes back to Bradley, who just has to clear it out. So good pressure from East Coast Bays, and they will get the kick in. So they could draw up here as Papakura look to collapse on the fence. Cooper down low. Loses control of it. Papakura will get the ball. Minute and a half gone in the second half. Still 0-0. No fouls for either team so far in this half. That one down to Verdon. A little bit of a heady touch. And now East Coast come back the other way. Good pressure though from Papakura. Cooper jostling with Takeda. Now here comes Papakura. Williams onto her right. Straight into the hands of Karina Brown.
A bit more life, isn't there?
A little bit more life if they can just get a shot left to right. Really make these keepers work.
So I'd like to see Hannah really get higher up the court. That's the best position up there.
Nice move that from Hooper. On to Reddy, who looks to turn around Verdon. Still has control of it. Resets out the back to Bremner. Reddy again, trying to get the turn on. Now an extra Papakura defender comes in. They do win the ball. Oh no, they don't. Referee says East Coast Bay's ball, so now Bremner will take. There's the one-touch shot from Hooper. Sails over the crossbar of the goal.
And from that spot there, I think when you've got a Hannah Reddy sitting up top, you're better to look to drive into her feet. And if the shot goes well and doesn't find her feet, it's a chance to go on goal.
Here's Cooper, but taken away by Takeda. Going back the other way, now Reddy looking for Takeda over the top. It's a good ball. Takeda with the right foot shot, but no. It's well handled. We'll get a kick in.
Bradley got big there. He's forced that one out.
That was a good chance for Takeda on this right-hand side. That one hitting the body of Williams and going out again. So Danielle Bradley getting worked early in the second half, making a good save. Once again, that one trickles out over the line. So stuck in the corner here, East Coast Bays. Cooper dancing around it. Nice footwork from her. Gets through a player, but then misses it. Now Cooper wants to push hard, and they had half a chance there, Papakura, if they'd just beaten Reddy. She did well, though. Last line of defence.
I'm not sure if you noticed there, the ball kind of got stuck on the court. There's actually been a complaint about these Nike balls. the way that they kind of stick to the court when they're a bit newer, and they kind of almost need a few games to get into it. So just getting caught up a little bit more than probably they'd like there.
Definitely have noticed that over the last 7 days, actually. You know, players just get caught underneath the foot, and you sort of wonder, for people who play futsal all the time, why that happens so often. So that does make a lot of sense that the ball was playing into it. And going all the way back through to Hooper, who then finds Bradley down the other end. Papakura in possession. Just a reminder, the men's bronze medal match, it was Waikato topping Bay of Plenty, 5-2 in that game. We've also got the men's final coming up after this. Kick-off around about 2 o'clock. That is between Auckland City and East Coast Bays. Auckland City, the defending champions. East Coast Bays, the up-and-comers with a lot of international talent and a lot of futsal whites on show as well. Here's Hooper pushing forward. Got to be careful not to get caught out here. She recovers now. Here's Takeda. Pass into Reddy. Back to Takeda. Takeda looking for a player in the middle. Can't find them. Now Gillian coming back for Papakura. Far side. Wants to reset. Takeda shielding it. Good recovery there from Takeda from attack to defence. They'll change out their starting 4 as well, East Coast Bays.
It's good defence there. Just got into good body position early and couldn't get round it.
So Brown going downtown, looking for Abby Wright. Good slide tackle there from Papakura. Kept pretty on for them. As well as Pinenberg of the Anthony. Gillian too. Play forward by East Coast Bays, that's Buckley. Third player now, there's a chance to break for Papakura. That ball a little bit too heavy from Pretty. Gillian running on that far side, but had a bit too much on it.
There's a bit of space there, I think, to just kind of almost move into before making that pass. They almost had basically a 3-on-1 in that situation. If you can get onto that counter quickly. Missed opportunity there, I think.
So just over 4 minutes played here in the second half. No one has broken the deadlock yet. That one long ball down. Now a shot that's going to come from right. She's getting back onto her left. Still controlling it in the middle of the court, and that's a foul on Gillian from Papakura there. Was a tough tackle. The referee has pulled it up, so basically right in front of the goal, but about 12 or 30 metres out.
Strong challenge and an opportunity here, I think, just with the way they've gone for 2 in the wall. Means there's going to be a free player somewhere else as well. So if they can move that ball quickly, create that shooting opportunity. One of them will have to step across, I think, pretty quickly once that ball moves away from them.
Down low, looking for the back heel there of Rebecca Aitken. It does just to the right of the goal.
I like that. I like that play. I like that low drive and just get that little niggly touch in there to find the back of the net.
Pinenberg and Anthony back and forth between them. Now here's Gillian. Back to Pretty. Pretty wanting to get on that shooting foot. Here's Pinenberg. Up high. Want to take the shot on Papakura at the moment. They almost want to walk it in. Here's Anthony. Now they're pressing East Coast Bays. Got to be careful. Pretty gets around right. Back to Anthony. And that one finally, good pressure from East Coast Bays there. Papakura didn't want to take the shot on.
Great press.
Yeah, good press there. That's won them the ball.
I think that's what we want to see more of from both sides there, that forcing that error from the pressure of defence. It could try to get out, but they just kept forcing them backwards there, and eventually a mistake was made.
Buckley will take the kick in for East Coast Bays. That one disrupted by Gillian. Abby Venmore also on for East Coast Bays on that far hand side. A few players yet to be used in this fixture so far. We'll see if the coaches do want to inject them as it moves on. Brown at the back has it.
And there's a good example there of what I was talking about, bringing Brown higher on the court to allow that extra player to find space.
Anthony. Down to Pinenberg. Pinenberg going up high again to Gillian. Gillian looking for a shot. Straight to the feet of Buckley. On the kicker now, they'll take the shot on. Easily handled. Now Anthony to collect at the back. Nearly could have been intercepted that one. Papakura have a bit of space in the middle here through Pretty. Decides to reset. Now Anthony up high to Pretty. Pretty a chance to get onto a shooting side. Decides to use Pinenberg. Pinenberg drifting into the middle, up high to Gillian. Pinenberg's making that run to the middle. Can they find her? Anthony with the shot, but it's high and wide. Good movement from Papakura there. Just maybe guilty of too many touches.
They are correct. I'm not sure if you've seen it there, but you've seen there is a free player when they're rotating that ball around. They just haven't been able to find that final pass to get it out to that free player. So the rotation is working better now for Papakura.
Pinenberg on it. Just getting onto her left foot, a pass into the middle, looking for Gillian, but it goes through all the players. Is that maybe where sort of like a one-touch type play is going to work out for them? They seem to want to take the extra touch to set themselves, but then the space quickly collapses.
It's also that first touch, moving that touch where you want it to go. So that's where you're using that sole of your foot to roll that ball into the direction you want to go. Then it makes it easier and quicker to move that ball around.
So Brown now at the back for East Coast Bays. Got Benmore on the court. Anthony has that one at the back for Papakura. They're letting that one go, and East Coast Bays saying their ball, but the referee will say no. Goes to blue. Papakura in the blue. East Coast Bays in the red. Ford Futsal Superleague women's final here on Sky Sport. Men's final not far away as well. Great competition that has been held at Bruce Pullman Arena over the last 2 weekends, culminating in our finals series this afternoon. Pretty now for Papakura is hassled by Benmore, who loses the ball behind her and easily collected by Papakura. Anthony has it again down low, using Pretty.
And that's a danger there. Venmore was pushing high, but the rest of the team didn't follow, and that's where you need that team to come through. Hear that call of press, or if one of your players goes, you all need to go. Otherwise, in transition, a lot easier there for the team to come through.
Just enlighten us as well, Marc, if this goes to extra time. Is it a golden goal? Is it your standard football extra time?
Yes, standard extra time. I believe it's 5 minutes each way, maybe 10. And then we go to penalty shootout, which is best of 5, and then it just keeps going. Sudden death.
And from the 6 metre or the 10 metre for the penalty shootout?
From the 6 metre. Pretty hard to save.
Yes.
If you're a keeper, not my favourite thing to be doing.
Well, we'll see if it comes to that or whether the team will score in regulation. So far 0-0, with only 12.5 to play. Pretty onto her left, and that one, not sure if that was a pass or a shot, but drifts wide in any case. And East Coast Bay is going to make a line change here. Rain coming down hard on the roof of Bruce Pullman Arena. Adding a bit of volume to the spectacle. Good crowd though starting to build here at Bruce Pullman. I'm sure they are here for the women's final. And they can sit their way through until the men's as well, which is going to be a mouth-watering contest. That one missing all Papakura attackers and going over the far hand touch.
You see that also in the second half. I think we're seeing the ball going out just that little bit more as passes go astray and shots come in that are a little bit wide of the target. So time's taking a bit more time.
Good turn from Takeda here. A chance if she can get a shot on. She does. Bradley saves. And Papakura come back the other way. Takeda really looking dangerous for East Coast Bay. Certainly has had the best scoring opportunities. And that one there, just after a beautiful turn on her defender. And then tried to toe it on net. Bradley was equal to it. Came out quickly. Here's Takeda again. Getting pulled by the shirt, I think. But the referee says play on. Now he's ready. Revis on for East Coast Bays. Her first minutes in this game. Good ball finds her in the middle, but Heinenberg, disrupts. Now it's Anthony. Gillian. Heinenberg does well to turn on Takeda, then tries to look for that central ball, but Takeda recovers well. It will be a corner for Papakura. They'll change out their line as well.
I think Pretty's doing really well on that far side to be in space. But in that situation there, that's when you're going to drive towards that back post for that ball coming across and get there quickly.
So Papakura now with Verdon, Williams, Cooper on the court. Up high, that one finds Williams. Here's Verdon on. She had Cooper in the middle, but just went straight through the legs and all the way through. A good opportunity there for Papakura. Well worked.
And that's the one. I think that's going to be the deciding goal, come from something like that.
Here's Takeda. It was a long ball from Brown that found her in that far-hand corner. Good ball into the middle from Takeda. Found Reddy. Back to Takeda. It's a good move. Can she get around Bradley? Good toe there from Bradley to disrupt the play. Eventually it comes back to her hands, but once again, it is Takeda looking dangerous.
Creating the opportunities. And they're coming for both sides now, so this game is opening up as teams start to tie it.
Here's Reddy, who recovered well defensively and then has handed that one back to Papakura. Cooper now Waters on as well for Papakura. Cooper, long ball up high to Williams, but just a little bit too hard. Just under 11 minutes here and to play in the second half. Neville, are we destined for extra time in a penalty shootout? Certainly think it looks that way after what we've seen so far. But anything can happen in the game of futsal. It does change on a dime. We've seen that in all of the games over the last 2 weekends. That clock stopping as well. It's a good turn from Cooper. A pass into the middle, but it was just too far out of the reach of Verdon. Golden opportunity for Papakura there. Cooper did well to turn on her defender.
Well, it's definitely opening up now. That's the thing. We're seeing these chances at both ends. Sure, it's just a bit of fatigue coming in from both sides, just leaving their markers.
And both teams are certainly using those key players a lot. They're getting a lot of big minutes, which they haven't necessarily had over this tournament. They've been shifting them in and out, but they're getting a lot of game time in this final. Cooper to Verdon, who wants to turn on it. Takeda is there to break it up. Now she comes away with it. Here's Varevis. Good pass forward to Reddy. Reddy back down low to Varevis. A pass across the face, but there was Williams. Now Verdon has Cooper up high. Takeda breaking up, but she can't get up, and now here's Cooper, and back to Verdon. She will score, and there's the go-ahead goal for Papakura. Unfortunate for East Coast Bays as Takeda was trapped on the ground, couldn't get back to her feet. A good initial save from Karina Brown, but Verdon there to follow up, and it's Papakura 1-0.
And that's what happens in futsal sometimes. The luck of the way that ball falls, and it just sat nicely there for Jess Verdon, and she makes no mistake of it and slams it into the back of the net.
So it's taken the best part of 30 minutes for the first goal of this game. Papakura have it. They have the 1 goal advantage.
I think that what this does for the game as well, this is going to make it a little bit more exciting now. We know East Coast Bays are going to have to go for it, and things are going to open up a little bit more for Papakura to get another goal. So it's brought this game to life.
Well, there have been opportunities on both ends in the second half, so we'll see if East Coast Bays can make something of it. Papakura will be very happy with how they've held the second half. They definitely have been controlling possession, just didn't have the goals to show for it. They do now. It's forward to Verdon, the goal scorer, and I'm not finding a player near side. It was Waters running through, I think. Now here's Bremner. Brown playing wide, and they will just use her there in that role. East Coast Bays. Here's Bremner. Bremner up high to Takeda. Takeda is a player in the middle and Reddy. Reddy looking for the turn, taken down by Cooper, and they will call it. She's not happy about it. But Reddy did go down hard, so that will be a foul. East Coast Bays ball.
Great turn. Forcing the foul. Dangerous position here. I also like the way that you've got Brown who can come forward and play the ball at her feet. Without really being in fifth man, they can move to fifth man very quickly. And that was what created that opportunity there.
Now, what will East Coast Bays do here? They've got Takeda just hanging out to the left of the goal. They've got Hannah Reddy potentially going to take it off a touch here. We're going to take to Takeda, and Takeda does get the shot on, but well closed down by Papakura. They break through Williams. Now here's a chance for Williams on the right-hand side. A good shot straight to the hands of Brown. Counter-attacking opportunity. Takeda, far side up high, can't bring it down. And they dodge it. Bullet there somewhat, Papakura.
Rolling foul as well there. Play the advantage. Come back for the foul.
On Papakura, is it? I think. No, that was on East Coast Bay. So 2 fouls to Papakura in this half, 1 to East Coast Bay. He's not really in trouble with 9 minutes to play. Reminder, 5 fouls is the limit per team per half. Here's Williams trying to turn on Bremner. Had that good opportunity just before that, and she's held back, Bremner. That will be called a foul. So probably a smart foul, to be honest, as Bremner did get around her. That is the 3rd foul, though, for Papakura. Just as I said, they're not quite in trouble. They bring up number 3, so do have to be careful.
Yeah, 8 minutes to go with a 1-goal lead. You don't want to be in foul trouble.
Yeah, really change the game plan, doesn't it, when you start to get conscious of that. Pass across to Hooper, 1-touch finish! It's in the bottom left corner! What a finish from Olivia Hooper. You'll see the pass across here from Bremner. Papakura may be caught napping, and you will not see a purer strike of the futsal ball. Left corner, Danielle Bradley caught flat-footed.
And you cannot take away from the work there of Hannah Reddy, dragging the player across and creating that space. That's the danger of having a player like her up top. You've got to try and mark her, but then she can do something like that and it just opens up. Great finish.
So after 31 minutes of no goals, we've had 2 in the last 90 seconds. As this game about to open up, we're going to see a whole lot more. Goals to Olivia Hooper for East Coast Bays and Jess Verdon from Papakura. Seeing here the replay again, just a beautiful strike. 1-touch finish. That's good futsal. Now Brown, who controls it at the back, is looking for a high pass up forward, and here's Aitken on now as well for East Coast Bay, so a few fresh faces on for them.
I like the way that East Coast Bays responded to the goal. It didn't get them down, and that's where I wonder now if this momentum will shift in their favour. Obviously frustrating when you go 1 goal up and they get 1 back.
Papakura have it now inside East Coast Bay's half. Pretty happy to use her player. Now they can come back through Abby Wright, East Coast Bay. She wants to get onto her left. Fouled hard by Anthony. She even knew it, but the ref didn't call it. Held her hand to her face, so looked bad from up here, Mark, but referee lets it go.
Yeah, I tend to stay away from refereeing decisions. I get myself into a bit too much trouble. Yeah, not sure about that one.
Coming across here, Buckley onto her left foot and just camped out on the right-hand side. There was Rebecca Aitken. Probably didn't expect it to come through so quick, so
it's that back post ball again. Dangerous.
That one straight onto the chest of Pretty does well to control. Anthony there playing. A lot of screens coming from the bench now. The team's getting animated as we get close to the final stanza in this women's final. Ford Futsal Superleague on Sky Sport. Now live from the Bruce Pullman Arena here in Auckland. Pinenberg has it near side for Papakura. Uses Anthony at the back to Pinenberg. Just rolling it off the foot now onto her right. It's a good shot, but straight to the hands of Karina Brown again. She uses Buckley up high. Nikki Buckley then splits the press from Papakura. Gillian will use Anthony.
Great opportunity there, just stepped inside. Just a shot, didn't do the work justice. Chance goes begging.
Pinenberg near side, and Papakura definitely controlling it. East Coast Bay's half, looking for that open look. Pretty is hassled there by Ben Moore. They might get pulled up here. I think they do, yes. Taking a bit too much time, but a miscommunication there between the Papakura attack. Wanted to set something up, but they've been pinged for it.
Just that 4-second violation there. Obviously try and speed up the game. You got 4 seconds to put the ball on the ground and kick it back in. And that time, it's a move that works quite well with a player that looks like they're going to take it, runs forward and someone else comes and hits that into the middle, but that arriving player didn't come. And a violation there.
Brown will get us back underway for East Coast Bays. It's a long ball coming out to meet it as Bradley, a chance, but it goes the outside netting. Shot from Abby Wright. Bradley dangerously coming out. Didn't end up costing them, but dangerous nevertheless.
East Coast Bays are getting back well here. You can see they've got 4 back straight away.
Pretty in the middle with a shot down to the right-hand side of Brown. She did get her hand to it. We'll get a corner kick. Very alert, Karina Brown. Just found Pretty in the middle, who had free time and space to turn and get on the right foot.
It's always way there as I compliment their defence.
Pretty from long range, high over the bar. So 1-1 here with 6.5 minutes to play. The women's final of the Ford Futsal Superleague. Goal scorer is Olivia Hooper from East Coast Bays. Jess Verdon from Papakura. Now here's a break for Papakura. Pretty in the middle. Got Gillian there with a right foot, and she goes near side and a little bit too near as it hits the left hand outside netting.
3-on-1 there. Great opportunity, just couldn't find the feet. I think that's where that extra pass towards that back post just creates a better opportunity there.
Then more from the kick in to Buckley. Buckley rolling it over. She wants movement up high. She's not getting it. So now they use Brown at the back. Now the long ball forward, but handled by Pretty. Here's Fenmore up high to Wright, who mistimes it, miscues it. Now Papakura get the ball back, so Papakura doing a good job of hassling in that final third. That press is starting to pay off for them. Under 6 minutes to play. Anthony. Heidenberg up high to Gillian, and then she's got Pretty, but that one's a little bit too far right. Now a quick break chance here for East Coast Bays. There's Abby Wright running onto it, but Anthony, the Papakura defender, and a staunch one at that, seeing it out over the goal line.
It's interesting, I feel like the game's gone back to where it was when it was 0-0. Both sides now a bit nervy around making a mistake.
Wright comes away with it. She wants a long-range shot, and Bradley does stretch out the right leg, but doesn't make contact, doesn't need to. Get the restart from the goalie. 5.5 to play in the second half. The chess match continues. Anthony holding at the back, uses Gillian up high, Heidenberg down low. Good touch from her, but then met by Rebecca Aitken. Good ball into the middle here, and a half chance. Oh, a beautiful defensive play there from Buckley.
I don't know if she knew much about that. Unbelievable.
Oh, a beautiful chance for Papakura. Cat Pretty lurking on that far hand post. It was nearly an own goal. And then as Buckley was trying to recover, inadvertently hit it into her post and saved them a goal. Still 1-1.
It's almost like as she was falling there, she managed to just flick that one away.
Well, lucky for her, we don't quite have it on the replay just yet. As Hannah really looks to turn. Stay keeping ball in possession here, East Coast Bays. That one from Takeda, just she knows it as soon as it hit her foot, that didn't come off the way she wanted. 4.5 minutes to play. We will go to extra time if the scores are level. You just have a sense though that we are still in for a little bit of drama. We have been last minute winners all over this competition, men's and women's. That one coming down to Reddy. Good control from her. Hooper on the right-hand side. Probably delays the pass a little bit too long. So they'll come back and start again. Hooper. Back to Bremner. Bremner to Takeda. Takeda was looking for Reddy to make that run, but Despite this communication. I think this is the replay here. Cat Pretty, and as, oh, just that right foot swinging out. And it was ended up being quite a remarkable save. She's kept her team in it. Long ball here, and on the field now for Papakura. Amy Waters looking to find that far right-hand corner. Hooper, 4 minutes to play. Bremner down low.
I think if it goes extra time, it's East Coast Bay's advantage. I think the way that they're playing, they just seem to have a little bit more energy at the moment.
Good hustle there from Cooper to make sure Reddy didn't have an opportunity to shoot. Takeda will kick this in for East Coast Bay. Cooper on. As this, both teams have their starting four out there, will they hopefully keep them all on for the next 4 minutes mark, or will we expect to...
Probably say 2 minutes each, with each kind of rotation. Just go out there and give it your all for 2 minutes and then have a break.
Here's Reddy with a shot on her left foot. Bradley with good positioning, straight into the bread basket for her. A long ball down to Cooper, who's challenging Hooper. Cooper and Hooper. Reddy coming back the other way, East Coast Bay's got Takeda running through. It's a good little move from her, and then onto the right foot toe. And it just drifts to the left-hand side of Bradley. She looked like she was there for the save anyway. Papakura will come back away with it the other side now. Verdon unable to control.
And that's where Hannah Reddy's so dangerous in that position there. You give her too much space, she'll just turn and get the toe away.
Papakura ball inside East Coast Bay's half. Here's Cooper, looking for someone on the far side. Brown deals with it well. Now Takeda. Just over 3 minutes to play. Good long ball, looking for Reddy, but Amy Waters made sure the positioning was correct. They will get a corner though, East Coast Bays.
This is where it gets nervy, I think, for both sides. You know, a moment of brilliance or a mistake can decide things in this game, and either side wants to be the one that makes the mistake.
Takeda has it in that far corner. Looking for a player in the middle through Hooper. Verdon there challenging. We'll just clear it out. East Coast Bays get it. Under 3 minutes to go. Very dramatic, very tight here in the women's final of the Ford Futsal Superleague. Only one team can win this game. Here's Reddy onto the right foot, blocked well. She gets it back down now on the left. A good save from Bradley. Oh, for Reddy, you think if she had just managed to get that to the left or right, that was a sure goal. Ended up straight into the basket of Bradley.
And you see the way there with Brown coming up high, it caused Verdon to come forward there, which then created that space. So sometimes if you're not set up for that fifth man, you don't think about it in that way, and it just means that you open up a few more holes. So maybe a timeout here soon for Papakura will come.
Oh, that one from Brown doesn't find Takeda. They were trying to use her as that fifth man there. Papakura will restart us basically on halfway. Waters down low. Williams back up high to Cooper. Cooper just trying to get a move on around Hooper. The battle between those two, both this weekend and last weekend, has been fierce. Just two very even sides. The scoreboard certainly shows it. It has been that way for the last 7 days. But as I mentioned, only one team can win this Ford Futsal Super League final, and we will have a winner one way or another. Reddy trying to get a turn on. Just held back there by Williams. Reddy now into the middle. A shot for Bremner. Handled well by Bradley. It might have been drifting wide, certainly hitting the post, and the timeout is called. So they do just want to reset. It might have been called there by East Coast Bays, who will look for a set piece.
Yeah, I think a good timeout as well for Papakura. Just to Coach Marvin Eakins, Mr. Futsal, will just set things back up again. I think you want to leave. You still want to mark that middle when they have that fifth man forward, but you don't want to push out too far because that's when it's going to create the space.
So 2 minutes 20 left in this final. It is 1-1. Goals courtesy of Olivia Hooper for East Coast Bays. Jess Verdon for Papakura, the captain. Marvin Eakins there. They call him Mr. Futsal. And many games for Futsal Whites, and now coaching Papakura and doing a good job of it as well. Don't forget, men's final coming up later on this afternoon. Kick-off scheduled for 2 o'clock. We will see if that gets pushed back should this game go to extra time and maybe a penalty shootout. But Auckland City going up against East Coast Bays in the men's final. And the highest level of domestic football here in New Zealand is going to be well worth a watch.
No, you're not wrong, they're two strong teams. Classic rivals, Auckland City and East Coast Bays. Different names in the past, but battle of the bridge, really.
Yep, and Auckland City, the defending champions of this competition. We've of course had a hiatus due to COVID, so good to see the competition back here, and albeit a little bit reduced in terms of team numbers. It's just good to have futsal back on the conscience, and of course on Sky Sport as well. Great to have it live on Sky this weekend. East Coast Bays, the inbounds. Hooper now using Karina Brown as that fifth player. Counter, Hooper. Brown looking for someone in the middle. It's a bit of a long ball here, looking for the head. It does come away. Might have been, I think, Bremner running in the far post. Didn't have a lot of angle to work with. Get a shot on though. Less than 2 minutes to play. Drama about to take place over the next minute 40, I'm sure. Good long ball now. Here's a chance for Williams on the far side. Puts it back to Cooper. It's a great save from Karina Brown. She's still down. Might have hit her right in the rib cage there. It was a beautiful save from the East Coast Bays goalkeeper. A certain goal as Williams and Cooper combine. See the pass here. Just straight to the ribs there of Karina Brown. Well, she has kept her team in it. Could be at a cost though.
Golden opportunity there for Papakura. Sliding that ball across the face of the goal, and Maxine Cooper just couldn't find the back of the net. And a great save, great defensive effort all round here from East Coast Bays.
Just had the wind knocked out of her, I think, as the physio was down with her and just trying to help her get back to her feet. I think she's going to be okay. Would be a big loss if she was to exit this game. She has really kept East Coast Bays in it with a couple of big saves.
And they're going for it as well, East Coast Bays. Using that fifth man option. Brown coming forward.
And team's just taking this opportunity to reset a little bit. Go back to the drawing board. Coaches walking them through a few plays as the East Coast Bays bench there looks on. Wishing the best for their goalkeeper, who is back on her feet. Karina Brown brushing it off. Well, that's good to see. Claps from the crowd and the opposition as well. So 1 minute 36 left on the clock. 1-1 was the score. Can this tie, this deadlock be broken? You'd think a goal would win it from this stage and clinch the Ford Futsal Superleague women's title. Takeda looking for a one-touch pass straight into the head of Amy Waters. 1:26 to play. Takeda, the kick in, finds Hooper. Cooper will use Brown at the back. Brown with the long ball, looking for Takeda, coming out as Bradley. It's a challenge with Bremner. Surprised both the players came up as quick as they did. It looked quite a meaty challenge, but it's going to be Papakura ball, I think. No, they're going to rule the corner.
It's always dangerous at this time of the game with 1 minute 17 remaining, just sending it long, forcing the issue.
Here's Reddy, trying to find Takeda. It came off, I think, the leg of Cooper, but the ref didn't see it, so Papakura will come back the other way. They want to play quickly. Here's Williams. Down low to Verdon, one of the goal scorers of today's game. She has it in possession now. Here's Waters, using Verdon, moving around as Papakura. They want to get something out of this final minute if they can. Williams, ball back down low. It's a pass to Cooper. Cooper wants to turn. Uses Verdon, but no, the pass goes errant. And now East Coast Bays have a chance. 1 minute left to go. can these two sides fashion? It's going to be East Coast Bay's ball. It is stop clock, remember, as soon as the ball goes out. Back to Karina Brown now. She's got Takeda running into the middle. Doesn't want to use it. Happy to pass back to Hooper. Hooper now looking for a long ball forward. Disrupted by Cooper.
You can feel the tension now on the court side. Both sides just don't want to give it away.
Waters now. Here's Verdon. And she just was looking for Williams running through, but it was a little bit long. 30 seconds left. East Coast Bays have the ball in their own half. We could be heading for extra time in this women's final. Here's Hooper, back to Brown. Central ball to Reddy. Reddy looking to turn, does so, and wants Takeda running off her. Good collapsing of the space there by Papakura. Forcing East Coast Bays to play back. Now Reddy, getting around. Waters and turning, can she get the shot away? No. Williams comes in and helps out. It's going to be East Coast Bays ball, 9 seconds to play.
I think this is the last chance here for East Coast Bays. Can they find a way through?
Bremner to Hooper. Hooper wants to get on her right. Lays it off to Takeda. Left foot shots, and it just goes to the left of the posts. 3 seconds. You'd think that'll just about do it. Bradley's going to throw it forward. Can they get a touch off it? Well dealt with by Takeda. The buzzer has sounded, but the referee says no. Oh no, he will blow the whistle. So there we go, the end of regulation. The scores are tied at 1 apiece. Olivia Hooper, the goal scorer for East Coast Bays. Jess Verdon, the goal scorer for Papakura. It's going to be a short turnaround. These two teams will come back and we will have extra time. Second half started off a little bit different. We had 2 goals, but then they sort of did slump back into what we saw in the first half, Mark.
That one goal, the first goal, brought the game to life. And East Coast Bays pushed hard to get a goal there. But then once it went back to 1-1, we kind of went back to where we were in the first half, and both sides were a bit nervy around making a mistake. I feel like that tension's going to be even higher in this extra time. But as fatigue sets in, I think that's where an opportunity is going to come.
So extra time not far away. The teams will take a short break. We will take a break as well. Come back with more after this. We might stay with it here as the teams
I think as players fatigue, that's where Hannah Reddy is going to come in to her own. We've seen the way that she could hold the ball up and turn. And when you're tired, you make mistakes. You dive in when you shouldn't dive in. And in futsal, you see the way that these players, that when you dive in, they see that as an opportunity and they just roll it past you and get the shot away. So I think for East Coast Bay, she's the one to watch. And again, I don't think you can go past Maxine Cooper. She's already got 7 goals in this series, and I think she's going to be the one to look out for Papakura.
So what's the tactic in the time? Do they play tentatively? Do they look for the press? It's such a hard thing to balance, isn't it? Because there's pressure, there's tension, you don't want to get caught in it.
Yeah. Look, the honest thing is when it goes to pens in futsal, it's almost like it's anyone's thing. That comes down to whether or not you hit the ball in or not. Because if you miss, that's what actually does it. It's hard for a keeper to save it. So they want to end this in extra time. So, and again, I think we've saw it in that half there where the press is what caused the mistakes to come. And I imagine Coach Marvin Eakins will be saying something along those lines. Let's get forward on the press. When I say press, let's press together as a team. Let's force that mistake and get the goal. I just honestly can't think of anything worse to do on a Sunday. Stand in front of the goal and from 6 metres out have someone pepper a ball at me. It's just not what I'd like to do. So they're brave. And I think as well, when you're on this day, the final day of day 6, well, however many games you've been playing, your body's tired. You're feeling it from last weekend. You're feeling it from yesterday. There's got to be a bit of game management that comes into it. You've got to rotate people. There'll probably be shorter shifts. I think the way you saw it there, that some of these coaches use, it's about a 4-minute run time where you're on the court for 4 minutes and then they'll switch you out. And obviously 4 minutes is a bit longer based on the stop clock. But maybe that shifts to 2, maybe that shifts to 3. But if you think you can get an advantage with a rotation, you see something that you did, that you think's there, maybe they stay a bit longer. But then the risk is that they fatigue and they open themselves up for a goal to be scored. Two halves.
Ford Futsal Superleague Women's Final. Back underway in extra time.
One thing to note as well, fouls come across. So you can see there 3 fouls to 1. That's because those fouls were picked up in the second half, so they'll remain there for extra time. She looks sort of bounced back from that challenge earlier, so that's great to see. So this will be what we see here again, I think, is that just sitting back behind the half to defend, which just allows you to move the ball around the back and try and find that opening. They've come out strong in this extra time with Papakura. Three-on-one there, driving forward, and once again it's that pass to the back post I think is a better option in that situation. But again, Brown got big, and that's what you need to do in that situation as a goalkeeper. I think East Coast Bays look like they have it when they can get Papakura scrambling. And if Papakura is scrambling, that's where the space is opening up for them.
Leader was Karina Brown, and then cleared by East Coast Bays.
That's it, that's the move right there. You've got to come forward as the keeper. And again, she gets big, does Brown, and good save again.
Here's Anthony at the back. Pass forward that finds Pretty in the middle. Hassled at the back by Venmore. See if these teams make changes. Here's Pinenberg cutting through the middle. Now down low, here's Gillian. Brown's tall again. Another good save from the East Coast Bays goalie. Cutting down the angle, finding herself in the right position. 1:20 to play, and now East Coast Bays put out the top line. Takeda out there with Hooper, as well as Hannah Reddy.
It's that game of chess again now, isn't it? Will you see the changes for Papakura going to come?
At the moment, Marvin Eakin's happy to leave out the side, the team that started this extra time period. So Kat Pretty out there with Gillian, Anthony and Pinenberg. That one not controlled by Takeda. 1:07 left to play.
Maybe based on
time, the first half.
what we're seeing at the moment, maybe this 4 rotation will see out this first 5 minutes, and we'll see a second come on. Different way of doing it. Give them an opportunity to work together.
Here's Pinenberg on the ball. Intercepted by Takeda, who then just puts a heavy touch through. 38 seconds. The more it goes on, Mark, the more it's got penalty shootout written all over it.
It's that nerviness, isn't it? Neither side willing to really press and create that opportunity. It's going to be from broken play. I think it'll come. A moment of brilliance, a mistake.
Yeah, and we saw that, especially the goal from Jess Fudon for Papakura came from perhaps a little bit of bad luck from East Coast Bays, just the bounce of the ball and players falling over. Good pass in the middle now. Here's Reddy onto her right, but doesn't quite get the angle and the connection she would have liked.
Just forced that shot a bit, I think. Need a bit more time than she maybe believed. But again,
Papakura with 34 seconds left to play. Good turn here from Pretty. Got a player up high. Puts a shot across, but it misses everyone, including the goal. Everyone and everything. As Karina Brown just adjusts that left post. And it's going to be a goal throw, I believe. 27 left on the clock in the first half here of extra time. Long ball down towards Reddy. Reddy gets a turn on. And 2 defenders there. She gets back onto her left, but Bradley helped out the defenders there coming out. The crowd's starting to get into it. They can sense the importance of each play. Under 10 seconds left. See here on the replay. There was that play from Pretty up high to Gillian, and then that just across the face there. Not able to find the bottom left corner. Ball from Karina Brown now. Here's Reddy controlling it on the chest. Back to Bremner. Bremner looking for Hooper. Goes all the way through. And with 1 second left, we'll hear the buzzer, and we should get time up in the first half of extra time. There it is. First half of extra time, done and dusted. Scores still level here, 1-1 between East Coast Bays and Papakura. The goal scorers coming in the second half of regulation. Olivia Hooper for East Coast Bays and Jess Verdon, goal scorer for Papakura. And they're both just sort of playing on that knife edge, aren't they, Mark?
they really are. I mean, how good is Hannah Reddy? 2 defenders on her, manages to roll it away from them and get the shot away. And the thing that she does is that it's dragged in 2 players and she still somehow managed to get away. Good work there from Bradley and goal, but she's creating those opportunities out of nothing.
So an instant turnaround here, straight back into the second half of extra time. 5 minutes will separate us from either a champion or a penalty shootout. East Coast Bays get us back underway. Bremner holds it at the back, so they're keeping that starting 5 out there, East Coast Bays. That one rolls through to Bradley. Here's Williams. Cut high to Waters. Waters hustled by the East Coast press. High ball. Looking for Williams. Just playing tightly on this near hand touch. Eventually Papakura lose it, and East Coast Bays will have the kick in.
It'll be interesting to see if this 4 for Papakura stays
Ready on her right, straight in the hands of Bradley.
If they stay out there for the full 5 like the last one, it means that there's probably going to have to be a change from East Coast Bays. A big shift for them.
You also don't want to have tight legs for a shootout, do you? You want everyone rested, ready to go. That ball just going out from Waters. East Coast will come away with it.
Just feels like there's only going to be one, if there is one, before we go to the penalty shootout. It's just got that vibe about it at the moment. Both sides like not willing to make a mistake.
Brown drifting out to the left-hand side here, well out of her goal. She doesn't want to get caught out of position. That one going across to Hooper. Nearly got away on her. Now they're playing wide. Bremner back to Hooper, and that one is going high over the goal. Give her a quick break here, perhaps. Verdon tracking up high. Dealt with by Hooper. 3.5 left to play. We have 3.5 left here of the second period of extra time. If it's still level, we will go to a penalty shootout. They take the shot from the 6-metre spot. There's still 5. It's like standard football. Ford Futsal Superleague women's final here. East Coast Bays, Papakura. East Coast Bays in the red, Papakura in the blue. Takeda on this near hand side, finds Reddy up high. Reddy trying to get on the right, a shot. It's well saved by Bradley and then cleared by Cooper. Delayed foul as well. It'll take Papakura to 4, so they've only got one more free one to give. And they'll start to get punished for it. You wouldn't want it to be decided on that, would you? Would you, Marc?
Again, I think it's the psychology behind it. When you know you're sitting on 5 fouls, do you dive in? Do you make that challenge that maybe you wouldn't even think about when you're not on foul trouble? So I think if they do get another foul, 3 minutes 20 to go, that's plenty of time for another foul. So could be on here.
Williams holds it at the back for Papakura. Now Cooper dealt with. 3 minutes 12 to play. Marvin Eakins was telling us yesterday it's a very difficult balance. That one's given up by East Coast Bays and towed all the way down. He said a difficult balance when you start to get into foul trouble. If you want your team to press high, you don't want them to go back into their shell. He said sometimes it is worth it to take the risk. It just depends on how the game's shaping up. I don't think he'd be thinking about doing it. 3 minutes left to go in the second period of extra time. We will see. Karina Brown has it. A long ball forward, looking for Takeda. But Cooper just didn't quite have the height on it. Cooper dealt with it. Takeda lurking, though, in the area. Cooper back to Brown. Brown on halfway. Finds Cooper down low. Back up high again. Here's Reddy. Don't want to let her turn. Here's Brown. Looking for a pass to Takeda. Cooper wants to come away with it. Brown was caught out of her goal. Cooper looked for a long-range speculator. Didn't quite come off. 2.5 minutes to play. Here's Reddy on the ball now for East Coast Bays. A sort of half shot, half pass into the area. Brenda was running through, but it was a bit too far away. Hadley will restart us.
Changes for Papakura as well. So this East Coast Bays 4, putting in a massive shift.
Here's Anthony on the ball. High to Peinenberg, and then that one not accurately put forward enough for Gillian, so East Coast Bays get that ball, far hand touch. Bremner will get us back underway. Here's Hooper. Hooper again to Bremner, not ready in the middle. Just happy to use it at the back. Hooper. Keita into the middle to Reddy. Reddy wants a turn and a shot, and it's a right foot shot. But Anthony was there and doesn't want any danger, so toes it out over the sideline. 1 minute 49 to play. Are we heading to penalties? Are we heading to a penalty shootout? That one inbounded from Bremner, and Reddy wanted the one-time shot. Thrilling finish here in the Ford Futsal Superleague Women's Final. The men's final not far away. Auckland City up against East Coast Bays. Here's Reddy. Getting back onto her left. Now Hooper with the shot. Wanted it on her right foot there, and now maybe they can break Papakura. Heinenberg taking Bremner on 1v1. Anthony with a long pass forward to Pretty. Pretty dancing her way through the middle. Anthony has it again up high. 1 minute 30 to play. Gillian playing off Pretty. Now moving around Papakura. Heinenberg's up high. Anthony uses it. Heinenberg now dances around Bremner. Can get on her left. The pass back into the middle. Broken up by Hooper. Just a little bit of panic there from East Coast Bays. Ended up coming away with it. That shot through. Doesn't test the keeper. 1 minute 6 as this clock counts down.
It's going to come down to something special, I think.
Good turn there from Reddy. Can she get a shot away? She then tried to poke it forward to Bremner. Heinenberg was there.
Just taking a few moments here, catch their breath. Our East Coast Bays.
Now here's Hooper. Has Bremner up high. Bremner looks for a pass into the middle, but it's cut out. Then Keita with a long-range shot. It ends up being straight into the path of Bradley. Parries it for a corner. 50 seconds to play. Keita passing back to Hooper. Keita will get it again. Look for a pass into the middle. She finds Bremner. Bremner looking to get the ball down. Hooper dances around, goes back inside, outside. Looking to get a shot, can she? Not quite. It was heavy traffic in the goal area. Maybe one too many touches, but also didn't have a lot of options around it. 35 left to go. Here's Keita. Keita cutting on her right, takes the shot on. Pretty wants to come away with it. Hooper does well to get around her. Then cut back inside Hooper. It's good little footwork from the number 9. Keita, long ball forward, looking for Bremner. Collision there with Bradley. Don't think it touched anyone on the way through, so it will be a goal throw. 17 seconds. Are we in for some last second drama? That goes to Anthony. Anthony wants to cut it back inside. He's got a chance, and it goes wide. It goes wide. Actually had just gotten around Bremner there and was looking to take it on.
Both sides creating opportunities in this last minute.
Here's Reddy up high and back to goal. Look for a turn now. Here's Bremner with 3 seconds. Takes the shot on. It goes wide. With a second 48 left on the clock, you'd think. This is going to end in a penalty shootout. We will see. Roll towards Bradley. One last throw of the dice. All the way downtown. Little flick on there from Cat Pretty, and this is going to penalties. 1-1 at the end of regulation and extra time. The teams are deadlocked. Olivia Hooper scoring for East Coast Bays, and Jess Verdon scoring for Papakura. And it is as tight as it gets in a final. Best of 5 from the 6-metre penalty spot. Marc, it doesn't get more dramatic than a penalty shootout in the final.
You do love to see it, but you also hate to see it at the same time. I think both of these sides have come out and played strong, good futsal, and it's always a shame that this has to be the decider. I still think they should just continue extra time, drop off a couple of players, make it more individual with a goalkeeper, in goal. But it's hard here for the keepers, but the pressure is what makes you miss in these situations. So, people will back themselves, and you've got to put them up on the spot.
So, for our viewers out there who aren't used to the game of futsal, Mark, what is your tactic here from the penalty spot? Because you obviously have your power, you have your placement. It's a small goal, so your placement has to be pretty pinpoint if that's what you're going for, but what do you think these players are going to look to do?
I think it depends on the player. I probably would suggest just going for power because, you know, the distance between the ball and the goal is not huge. So if you hit it well, it's pretty hard to save. There's always that area where the height's good for a keeper to save. So you want to be trying to get into those awkward areas where maybe they've got to get down low. You know, they're quite flexible goalkeepers, so they do get down low quite well. But I think, you know, top corners and bottom corners are the way to go with good power.
So to the fore, Karina Brown, the goalkeeper for East Coast Bays, and Danielle Bradley, the goalkeeper for Papakura. And in many ways, they have been the two standouts in this game, keeping their teams in it. Certainly Karina Brown with a couple of huge saves.
Yeah, there were definitely a few moments in that game, weren't there? I go back to that almost diving save off the line where it just got flicked out from one of the East Coast Bays players. And again, the keepers got big. Both of them called into action and both made good saves. So now really it's their time to shine again.
Yes, and men's final, which was due to kick off at about 2 o'clock, might just be delayed a little bit. They've headed out of the warm-up area, so they'll be getting ready to play in their final coming up very shortly. But we have a shootout here at the Ford Futsal Superleague Women's Final, live on Sky Sport. We're going to play at the right end of the court. The captain's just having a toss and hugs towards Karina Brown, who's going to be the one in net for East Coast Bays. She just gathers herself, pulls the shirt up over the face. Composure and execution. That's what a penalty shootout requires. We see them a lot in the 11-a-side game, and always good for some drama.
Some of these girls as well. I think the third and fourth playoff at the tertiary chaps went to a penalty shootout. Hannah Reddy was definitely involved in that. I think Hooper was as well. So some of these girls have had some practice this year. Let's see if the pressure gets to them.
And, lining up on halfway as they do. And what's the rule here around players who didn't take the court, Mark? Are they allowed to participate in a penalty shootout? Should it go that long, or is it restricted to those who?
I think if it's when you're named on the team sheet, you're a part of the team squad for that day. So it doesn't matter if you take the court or not, as long as you're named on the team sheet.
So first up, it's going to be East Coast Bays and Hannah Reddy to go 1v1 with Danielle Bradley, the goalkeeper for Papakura.
It's a good pick, I think. Your best striker to come out forward and take the first shot. Let's see how she goes.
So on the 6-metre penalty spot, Reddy lines it up. Best of 5 here. Women's Ford Futsal Superleague final. Here's Reddy. Taps it in, or punches it in, just to the left of Bradley. She chose a direction, and Reddy went the other way, so advantage East Coast Bays. And it looks like it's going to be Kat Pretty for Papakura, stepping up to take their first shot. Karina Brown readying herself in net for East Coast Bays, adjusting the knee pads. All eyes on Kat Pretty for Papakura. She too, all power on that one, top right. Brown did get a hand to it, but Papakura get one back, 1-1 in the shootout.
I think that shows that power is so key from that type of distance. Big hand on it, but not enough to keep it out.
So it's going to be Arisa Takeda, East Coast Bays, to take their second penalty. Bradley in net. And it's saved by Bradley, low right. She picked the direction well. Takeda not happy. She picked her spot. The goalkeeper just matched the task, so advantage back to Papakura, and it's going to be Emma Pinenberg to take the second penalty for Papakura. Could give them the lead. That one straight to the path of Brown, but had enough power, finds the back of the net. Heinenberg puts Papakura in front, 2 goals to 1. Now stepping forward, Olivia Hooper for East Coast Bays. Referee just saying, wait for my whistle. What can Olivia Hooper pull out for her side here? That shot, well placed, well powered. And Bradley just diving off to her left. Missed that one, so back to square pegging. And a chance here for East Coast Bays if they can get a save to keep it that way. But Emily Gillian wants to keep her side in front. Like I said, best of 5. This is the 3rd penalty. Gillian now, readies, and puts it into the top left. That's a good penalty. Brown had no chance to save that one, so 3-2 advantage Papakura. Important penalty this for Bremner. She needs to get it to keep her side level, otherwise Papakura will have the chance to win it. Penalty number 4 here for East Coast Bays, Bremner to take. And puts it straight down the middle up high. Bradley did get fingers to it.
It's got 2 different techniques here. You see the way Brown will just stand there, whereas Bradley moves into a position which allows for that higher shot, which has come forward and down. It means it can just be tapped up high.
Maxine Cooper here, top goal scorer in the competition. If Brown can save this, it makes it very interesting. Here's Cooper. Puts it into the left-hand corner. Very good penalty. Hard to save there for Karina Brown. So once again, advantage Papakura, and the pressure well and truly on East Coast Bays. It's going to be Karina Brown to take. Should she miss, Papakura will be the women's champions of the Ford Futsal Superleague. All pressure on Karina Brown as she steps up to take. Straight down the middle. Bradley chose a side. Brown went down the middle, and now pressure back on Papakura. It's the number 17, Amy Waters. If she can put this into the back of the net, Papakura will be champions. The crowd definitely silent here at Bruce Pullman Arena. Massive opportunity here for Amy Waters to be the hero. On her left foot. Readies and takes and scores. Papakura, the 2022 Ford Futsal Superleague Women's Champions, courtesy of a penalty shootout. 5 goals to 4, the 1 save from Danielle Bradley separating them as the players celebrate on court. Fantastic moment for them, and getting one back over East Coast Bays, who beat them twice throughout this tournament. Papakura get their revenge.
Arguably you couldn't separate them the whole tournament. A fantastic final, and always a shame it has to come down to a penalty shootout, but great work to Papakura, and congratulations.
Some well taken penalties, and the celebrations will continue, no doubt, as the 2 teams get ready to go through the handshake line. Unfortunate end for East Coast Bays. They had a good tournament. That's coming up short here in the final thanks to a penalty shootout.